Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rounding the Bases podcast. I'm Coach Coons, along with Coach Porter, on this Sunday evening, August 9th. Um, Coach, I'll tell you, the one thing that impressed me, I think Coach Cart's coming in here too. There he is. I just finished watching the Little League softball, and it's amazing seeing these 13-year-old kids, 12-year-old kids pitching the way they're pitching, fielding the way they're fielding, hitting. I mean, it really means, well, it's a good thing for our business because when you have 13, 12, and 13-year-olds doing that are probably going to play on their varsity softball teams very, very soon, it makes the competition for the next level even bigger.
Yeah, the talent level across the boards is definitely increasing. Talent level across the boards in baseball and softball is increasing, and um, Ian, someone wrote about this on X. That's interesting that you say this. The talent level's rising, and the spots to play college athletics are decreasing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's just not enough places, especially with the logjam with the portal. There just aren't enough places for kids right now, or at least I think places that kids have circled that they want to go. That's the kicker. I think there's places for kids to go. I just don't know that it's where they want to go. But the
Correct.
reality, and kids are going to have to get brought down to reality a little bit, I think.
Well, they're going to have to find a place that they can play if that's their ultimate goal, and then wiggle it after that, or just decide, hey, I'm going to have to try a career, something along those lines. But Coach Cart, have you heard any news on the 5-year plan? Anything change on that? We were talking about it off the air, but
Yeah, so I think that really any of the news that I've seen is that, I think that they're waiting on more rulings to catch up right now. It sounds like that the courts have uh, continued to issue clarifications. The NCAA continues to clarify different parameters around it. Really, I think it's gonna take a while for some of these things to to flesh out for the most part. I did read something the other day that talked about um, this making fall ball really interesting for a lot of the Division One teams because not only is it going to be competitive like it normally is, but I think it's going to be even more competitive from the standpoint if you've got those returning seniors coming back in. That's going to make a pretty big difference because you've got too many players and not enough roster spots.
well, and that's what we were just talking about before you came on here. Is I was hearing, I don't remember what show it was, but football is feeling the brunt right now because now your 2022s can come back to your school and play if they choose to do that, but you've already recruited and started your practices. So does the is this going to be treated like a COVID thing, where you're going to have 1 year where the NCAA is going to take Division One sports and say, okay, we'll increase your roster size so many slots, football, baseball, basketball, whatever it is, to get through this ruling if it sticks, or what happens to those kids, those athletes, you know? And then when they go back to a school and the coach says, we have no spot for you because our roster is full, does that open up another lawsuit or another judge, another lawyer that'll grab it and say, hey, you can't do this. You're banning my client, and they were a good player.
Yeah, I think that really the message at this point just needs to be flexible, be consistent, right? I mean, Coach Porter hits the nail on the head all the time. Good players play, right? Good players perform, right? And whether or not you get that shot in fall ball or whatever that looks like, I think if you're you have an open growth mindset, you're flexible, you're willing to just roll with the changes, you're gonna find a spot. You're gonna find somewhere to land. But changes are inevitable at this point throughout whatever the course of this is. And now that we've hit a congressional recess, you're not gonna see the legislation passed before September.
Right, you got a whole month off.
So you've got a whole month now that you're waiting for a congressional package to stabilize the NCAA pretty much market, and so you've got that much more time, which probably means that anything that Congress passes, you're not going to see it go into effect until the 27-28 academic year. That's going to be my guess. I don't know. I also saw some pieces of some screenshots of that legislation where they were saying, the Power Fours, and you can leave your conference within 180 days of the legislation passing. So that could change things again. I mean, really, right, the message is control what you can control, be flexible. You just don't know what's gonna change and what's gonna come your way.
Coach Porter, is there college athletics anymore?
If there are at the lower levels,
Right.
I think there are. I think NAIA, JUCO, D2, D3 are going to benefit. I think Division III is going to benefit from this. I'm calling it right now. I think D3 is going to benefit from it big time. I think Division II's kind of got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Their toes in the water, but they've been recruiting transfers for years, and they're still at 9 scholarships. Like, what's going to change with 9 scholarships? They were talking about the 5 for 5 25 years ago when I was in college for Division II. So this is nothing really new. They brought it up, they put it away. They brought it up, they put it away. So to be honest with you, I think this is an absolute mess. I think you've got pure baseball at the quote unquote lower divisions of college baseball. And I think there's some hardworking coaches out there that are going to benefit from this. I really do. And I think the parity, I mean, you got to think. So we're already going into this. Let's start in professional baseball. There's already less minor league teams, right? There's less minor league teams. There's less rounds of the draft. There's a proposal on what to do with the draft. There's NIL and the transfer portal. And there's roster limitations and different scholarships at the higher levels of college athletics. This is all going to trickle down. I mean, it's going to trickle down. So now if this draft stuff goes through, now these college guys, these high school guys are going to go to college. So and in higher education, you have all these, private schools closing.
Yeah.
So it's not it's an uneasy time to get recruited, and you have the changing of recruiting, how coaches are going to watch portal kids or portal games and that type of stuff. Like, it's very interesting. It's good. It's very interesting. I think what you're going to see is you see large, and here's something that we don't talk a ton about, is at the lower college levels, the large roster numbers. We're telling kids, hey, go somewhere where you can play, right? There's 60 kids on these rosters. You think these rosters aren't going to grow? You think these schools that are enrollment driven aren't going to increase rosters and more JV programs and JUCOs with B teams. Like it's gonna be we are at a tipping point, and that's why you need somebody to guide you through this.
You know, and you had mentioned less minor league teams, but it's all driven. I mean, that whole scenario, there's less minor league teams, but there's twice as many independent ball teams, which technically it gets it off the major leagues ball teams' salaries and expenses, but they're still in the stands looking at these kids.
But those kids are out of eligibility.
Right.
Those kids are out of eligibility. I mean, those kids are out of eligibility. So this is going to be really interesting. I mean,
Right.
are we going to get to the point where kids are just playing summer collegiate baseball? We're at a point where kids are just playing travel baseball and softball. When are we going to get to the point where they're like, forget this, I'm going to go play high-level college summer ball, get recruited by Division I's, right? And think about it. I'm telling you, it's messed up. And you know what? A lot of the kids that we work with are going to be affected by this. And that's why you need somebody to navigate it. This is not the same, 20 years ago when I recruited Coach Cart, it's not the same. Mm-hmm. Not even close.
Oh, right. Yeah. And I was before you, so I can tell you that for sure.
And I just got through the process with my daughter, the recruiting process with my daughter. And luckily the exposure she got, we were able to make a decision a year in advance of her enrollment in school. I think those are becoming few and far between now, especially at that level. Few and far between.
And we've all had this conversation. I know Coach Cart brought it up one time. It's never too early to start working with a company like ours, because the sooner you can get recognized and noticed, the sooner you can commit when you're eligible to commit, the sooner you'll have a spot. And if it continues to steamroll, you can flip a coin.
Oh, and not to mention, we've talked about all this, but not to mention, okay, our coaches still willing to recruit players that don't have metrics and that are really good baseball players. Because I got news for everybody, because your exit velo is 102 doesn't tell me if you're a winner.
Right.
It gives us a little bit of the story, but does not tell us if you're a winner.
Coach Cart does, you're the computer guy with this. It seems like we went from pitchers, how fast do you throw, what's your whip, what's your ERA, win-loss record. Batters, what's your batting average? How many home runs did you hit? And then it went up the scale, and then it was all metrics driven. And then it was all, well, you are fast enough in your time to first base and this and that. And guess where we're headed back now? When you look on X, how fast does the kid throw? It's not all this other stuff anymore. Are metrics important? Yeah, they're important. But like you're saying, what's your batting average? How fast can you throw? Are you a winner? Are you a good shortstop? Are you a good pitcher?
Does he get guys out?
Can you get guys? Yeah.
Does he get guys out? We
argue about this. We argue about this. We argue about it because I'm on the other end of it. So he tells me the information I need, and I look and I apply it how I want as a coach. I'm serious. I think it's over. I think it's got to be a blend of both. But here's the thing: these kids are paying thousands of dollars and not getting seen anymore.
Oh yeah.
So what's the point? Listen, a prominent high school baseball coach in the state of Ohio, and I mean prominent, I mean maybe the best coach in the entire state, has repeatedly in the last 2 weeks written on X about kids not traveling anymore and playing locally. And
Right.
he is in a metro area of the state of Ohio and has repeatedly wrote it. You're not going to get seen. You're not going to get seen. Why are you going here? Why are you going there? He's repeatedly wrote about it. So once again, that's why you need someone to if you're not going to get seen, that's why you need someone to partner with you to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
At an affordable price.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to college coaches on behalf of kids, both softball and baseball, and that's the one question. I probably the first question: are they a good player? Yeah, we wouldn't be talking, if they weren't. Next question: are they a good person? Can they win? Can they help me win? Those are the three questions. They want to know because, again, this is their livelihood. What are they going to do to help them? And that's what we're here for. Like Coach Cart's hat, just catch the ball.
Hey, I wore this tonight, and shout out to All Star. I know we don't promote a lot of brands. Shout out to All Star. Their catching gear is really good. They just honored a warranty claim on my son's catcher's mitt, which is rare. You never hear these guys, and they do it the right way. So I'm rocking their hat tonight.
We got to get hats, Coach Porter.
We do. We do.
But again,
We do.
if you are interested, we have been having athletes contact us. We'll do that free evaluation. We send it back, ask you what you think. If you don't want to, we don't bother you again. That's the last call you get from us. If you want to work with us, we'll be calling you the whole time, And we
Let's
got
help you.
Yeah. We're here to help you find a school, get in there, and make an impact, not only for you and your family, but for that team, and get the recognition you deserve. All right. Anything else, coaches? We will see you next week. We'll have a little bit more. Congratulations to North Carolina, the Little League Softball World Series champions. They were phenomenal, actually. We had a good Kentucky team that was undefeated. And I'm thinking we have the Little League World Series coming up here soon. Field of Dreams game. There's a lot of excitement, coming down the pike. So, but we'll
Field of Dreams games this week, right?
What's that?
Field of Dreams games this week. Phillies and
I
Twins.
believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so.
that looks pretty cool.
It's a lot of fun to see it. But we will see you next week. Thanks for watching, and fill out that questionnaire.